God, 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 God,
God only God,
God, God, God, God, God, God, God.
oh my God, God.
Something for your mind. Something for your mind.
Hey, this is Soul,
And I'm Harry,
and we're from Superorganism.
and these are our 5 essential tracks. So the first song that we've chosen is this year's mega hit, God's Plan by Drake. It's the song that we've all been vibing on super hard. It's our hype track before we go on stage. And I think that we all kind of relate a little bit to the sentiment of it.
God's plan, God's plan. I hold back, sometimes I won't. Yeah. I feel good, sometimes I don't. Hey, no. I finesse down Western Road. Hey, next. Might go down to G.O.D. Yeah, wait. I go hard on Southside G. Yeah, wait. I make sure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sentiment. The idea of like fate and it being like even just within our band, you know, like everyone meeting, like Orono finding, the old band through like a YouTube algorithm, and then, you know, just random little events that led us to be here in this moment. To encapsulate it in something like like that's God's plan.
There's so much chance involved in the whole thing, and also like I really like some of the lines in that song, like the line about like, what if I'd never met the broskies or whatever. Like I find that really funny because it's such a kind of jock thing to say, but I think again it's something that I relate to. I'm just like, wow,
everything that sort of is packed into that song is the philosophies that we may follow with writing. But you know, we heard it after we've written a bunch of the first group of songs, so it's probably going to inspire maybe the next batch or something like that.
Yeah, so the second track that we've picked is I Am a God by Kanye West. Kanye is one of our favorite artists. I think that for everyone in the band, he's someone that we've all kind of grown up listening to, and really related to all the different eras of his music. And the Yeezus era was a really interesting one, a really empowering one, I thought, because first of all, he goes on this whole tangent of like, as soon as they like you, make them unlike you.
I am a god. Hurry up with my damn massage. Hurry up with my damn menage. Get the Porsche out the damn garage. I am a god, even though I'm a man of God. My whole life in the hand of God. So y'all better quit playing with God. Soon as they like you, make them unlike you. Cause kissing people last.
I think that's like the most punk thing ever, you know? He's like, you don't want to let people have their expectations of you, you know, color where you go in the future. And I think that that's something that we all found very important and very inspiring when we were coming to make our debut album, Superorganism, because we decided that we'd stay anonymous for the first era of the band. When we were working on those tracks, like, we didn't have it out there who we were and stuff. And a big part of that was to confound people's expectations. You know, as soon as they like you, make them unlike you. It's not, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, Kanye takes himself too seriously. And I can kind of see why people might think that, but I think it's actually not. I don't think that it's that he takes himself that seriously. It's that he takes his work really seriously. And I think that that's something that we relate to. You know, we have a lot of humor in our music, but it's we take the actual art really seriously. It's just that we don't take ourselves that seriously in the process. And again, maybe this is my misinterpretation of Kanye, but I feel like this song is a perfect representation of that.
Yeah, the next track is the Beach Boys hit song. I don't know if it's a hit song.
If you should ever leave me, well, life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me, so what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you.
There's a masterpiece from Pet Sounds. So, I mean, that song is, or maybe that album, or the Beach Boys in general, is a big part of our like musical DNA, and particularly because of his devotion to songwriting and production and the craft of it is so inspirational. And I mean, particularly what's pertinent with, I did a little bit of research myself in terms of like Emily, so Something for Your Mind. I think me and Emily were talking about like how, and God only knows, the bass guitar, and this is like the harmony, but the bass guitar doesn't really play the root note in the verses, which is like what you should play. So it goes against, it subverts what you should hear, and it only goes into the correct note of the bass in the chorus, with the line, God only knows what I'd be without you. And in Something for Your Mind, it uses the same module there, where it's using it uses like the other notes in the verses, and when you get Something for Your Mind, it's when it returns home.
Satisfying resolution.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think that album in general, as Soul says, like Pet Sounds is just like a foundation stone of modern music, and particularly of people that want to make pop music, like beautiful things that are accessible but also are weird and challenging. And I think that that's like it's an absolute education in that. It uses so many weird sounds in the record as well. And God Only Knows too, but all across the album, there's, you have like the sound of dogs barking and horns and stuff. We use so many different sounds of nature or society or found sounds and all that sort of thing. And that fully comes from Pet Sounds as a foundation. And then, on top of that, I think God Only Knows is just like a contender for my favorite song of all time.
I think it's one of the best love songs.
It's just beautiful. The lyrics, I love the way that the lyrics start with this, you almost think that it's going to be like a negative song. I may not always love you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, whoa, that's heavy, man. Like that's, but everyone kind of feels that at points. Like, I don't know, let's just enjoy the moment. But then the whole thing, as long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. It's like, but oh yeah, I will always love you. Like as long as you exist, like. Yeah. I don't know. It's a beautiful sentiment. It's stunning. The next track that we chose was God by Kendrick Lamar. Damn came out kind of midway through us working on our album. It was like a month or two after we put out Something for Your Mind, and we were all feeling on a high from putting out this song that everyone really liked. And I remember when that album came out, I was already a massive fan of Kendrick Lamar, but to be honest, I know that everyone loves To Pimp a Butterfly. I do too, but like it didn't, for some reason that album didn't sink its claws into me in the way that Good Kid, Mad City had. And so for me, listening to Damn, it kind of like bridged both of the best things about those two albums, the experimentalism of To Pimp a Butterfly and the kind of how banging Good Kid, Mad City was. It got the best of both of those things and combined them in a way that I just felt so empowered by. And
this what God feel like. Yeah. Laughing to the bank like yeah. Flex on swole like
I love the line like this is what God feels like and I remember feeling there were a few points where we had these kind of little weird milestones where that line just kept on popping into my head, like this is what God feels like. It's like this is a weird like godly moment in my life. It's like something that I'm never going to experience again. It's a little bit hard to kind of explain when you have moments like that. We had one the other day. We played both of the Primaveras in Barcelona and Porto, and we've had these crowds that were just. I never imagined that I played to a crowd that big, and that not only that, but they're like singing back songs that we wrote, and it's just this weird transcendent experience. And I don't think you need to be religious to relate to that. It's
I think particularly in that song, he feels like a god because I feel like what's important is that he's worked very hard to get to that moment, and what I relate to is like he didn't just feel like God just coming out of his mother's womb. Is like all the trials and tribulations, all the work you put in. And this goes hand in all the artists we've talked about in this little like interview is that it's waiting for us, that feeling of transcendence is if you put the work in and your passion and the sweat and the blood that you shed and you can achieve it,
The last track that we chose is God by John Lennon.
Yeah, last but not least by any means.
Yeah, the Beatles are like another one that, like the Beach Boys, that are just so foundational to eccentric pop music that it's a cliche. But the Beatles as a band are probably my favorite art that has ever existed across any medium. But then what I really, really like about the song God by John Lennon is that it's after the Beatles and it's in the aftermath of it all, and he makes this intensely personal raw album called Plastic Ono Band.
God is a concept by which we measure our pain.
it's like in this weird place in his mind and his and all of this sort of thing. And he comes to this conclusion with the song God that like he doesn't believe in all of the mythology that's built up around him. It's nothing to do with that. It's, the whole thing is like God is a concept by which we measure our pain, and he doesn't believe in Jesus or all of the different religions. He doesn't at one point he says, I don't believe in the Beatles, I don't believe in Elvis. These are like foundational things that were important to him as a personality, and he's throwing them all away. It's kind of like a stripping down of his own ego. And this is a man who was like incredibly arrogant, and that's like hubris at its like most extreme. And this is a point where he's like, his ego is like shedding away from him. And I think that all artists need to have a bit of both of those two things. You need to have the arrogance to believe that other people want to hear what you've got to say and what you're making, that you've got something unique and interesting to a new angle to give. But then at the same time, you have to kind of understand that like there's been a lot of times with this band where we've had people kind of kiss our asses and telling us that we're great and stuff, and it's like you've got to have these moments where you kind of realize like, you know what, like I don't really believe in any of that. The only thing I believe in is that I believe in the fact that I can keep on doing this. I will keep on writing good songs. I will keep on working with my friends. I will keep on doing the best that I can do for myself and my friends, and that's all that we can really do. And yeah, I guess that song's like it's kind of a mantra almost to doing that.
Hey, you've just watched 5 essential tracks with Soul and Harry of Superorganism.
Hey, if you like what you saw, you should probably subscribe to these guys' channel. Check out our album. It's on Spotify. And I don't know, tell us in the comments if you have a particular God song.
God's plan.
Enjoy it. God's plan.